Hello and welcome to my 300th episode of the Daily Comic and Collectible. Today, the collectible of the day is the Diamond Select Toys, Disney Select, Collector's Edition, the Rocketeer action figure. The discovery of a top-secret jetpack hurls test pilot Cliff Secord into a daring adventure of mystery, suspense, and intrigue. Cliff encounters an assortment of ruthless villains, led by a Hollywood screen star who's a secret spy. With the help of his actress girlfriend, the young pilot battles enormous odds to defeat his foes, who are anxious to use the device in an evil plan to rule the world. This 7-inch scale action figure of the Rocketeer features 16 points of articulation for posability and displayability. Packaged on a blister card, this accessory-filled set includes Rocketeer figure, flame and smoke base, helmet and bonus head sculpt, open jacket piece, flame effects, rocket pack blueprints, and 3 sets of interchangeable hands. Designed by Yuri Ming and sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. Released in 2021 by Diamond Select and Disney Toys. Now, the comic of the day is Rocketeer, The Great Race, issue number 1, with a release date of April 2022, with story by Stephen Mooney, art by Stephen Mooney, and cover by Gabriel Rodriguez. This is part 1 of a 4-part miniseries. Ace stunt pilot Cliff Secord has returned from his New York adventure to a West Coast steeped in paranoia over the looming war in Europe. When there's a radio report announcing a possible hidden camp of Nazis in the hills of Los Angeles, Cliff decides it's time to strap on his rocket pack and blast off to confront them. After a dangerous firefight and a well-placed bullet to his pack, he barely escapes, and the close call leaves him shaken and reconsidering being the Rocketeer at all. After retelling the story to his model girlfriend Betty, this is something she is all for. Of course, Cliff has said this before. She's just hoping this time it's for real. Later that evening at Murphy's bar, reports come in over the radio of a found abandoned ranch, raided by the feds full of Nazi military equipment and documentation. Cliff also gets the feeling he's being followed. Of course, he brushes it off, just getting jumpy in his old age. That next morning, a man drops by the hangar on behest of his employer, Delton Nicosi, world-renowned industrialist and inventor, and he wants a meeting with Cliff at his mansion right away. It turns out Nicosi wants Cliff to fly his newly developed experimental plane in the Great Race, a prestigious international airplane race from California to Paris, and the billionaire is offering him $10,000 to do it. But Cliff, of course, turns him down, telling Nicosi he promised his girlfriend no more danger. He then asks Cliff to consider the request. After all, he'll be helping to make the world a better place. Later, at the airplane hangar, he receives a surprise visit from Betty, who is all excited and can't believe his message to her about Nicosi. She's all in. After all, she gets to go to Paris, and he warns her it may be dangerous. More dangerous than flying around with that death trap strapped to your back, being shot at and almost getting us killed, Betty asks. She walks away asking herself what to pack and what are they wearing in Paris, leaving Cliff with the realization he's taking the job. At the same moment in Denmark at Copenhagen Airstrip, we witness another pilot and his plane being taken out of the Great Race for good, and an assignment being given to the Iron Baron to retrieve Nicosi's rocket technology at all costs. The story ends with Cliff accepting Nicosi's offer and getting an upgrade to his Rocketeer pack and helmet. What happened to giving up the Rocketeer? To be continued in the next issue. Geek Fact: The Great Race marks the 40th anniversary of the Rocketeer's debut as a backup feature in Starslayer, issue number 2, with a release date of April 1982. Bonus geek fact. The Rocketeer is influenced by the classic Hollywood movie serials of the 1950s and the larger-than-life actors of the era. The original was a tribute to the latter-day golden age of Hollywood. Another bonus geek fact. Cliff's girlfriend, Betty, who's a professional model, was modeled directly after Betty Page. Betty Page was an American model who gained notoriety in the 1950s for her pinup photos. She was often referred to as the Queen of Pinups. Another bonus geek fact. The Great Race kicked off IDW's Rocketeer Month with an encore release of Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer Artist Edition, a new printing of the inaugural release in IDW's Artist Edition line. And final geek fact. Each issue contains an oral history featuring Dave Stevens' friends and family, culled together by Kelvin Mayo, his longtime friend and director of the artist's documentary. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me for another Daily Comic and Collectible, episode 300, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. This is Cat Fan Comics Man, and I'll catch you on the flip. Over and out.